Here's a great idea for your church's next social media post. I've seen churches publish this, and by far, it's their best performing piece of content. For example, this is Legacy Church out of Massachusetts. Scroll through their Instagram reels, and you'll see they're posting consistently, getting a couple thousand views per average on their posts, which is outstanding. But then, look at this, boom! 500,000 views on this post with the title, 3 Biblical Declarations to Pray Over Your Finances. Keep scrolling, another 500,000 views, same post design, this time with the title, 3 Biblical Declarations to Pray Over Your Children, and another one, this one with more than 750,000 views with the title, 3 Biblical Declarations to Pray Over Your Finances. These kinds of posts will work on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. They're vertical videos taking biblical truths and formatting them into a list. To help you with this, I've created a template that you can download, but there are a few very important editing tips that you cannot ignore if you want to see traction on these posts the way that Legacy Church did. Now, most people will overlook these, but props to Legacy Church because it's these little things that together contributed to those posts going viral for them. Now, using the template I'm sharing with you, these are the 3 different posts I made. The first with the title, How to Respond When You Don't Have It All Together. The second with the title, When You Need a Fresh Start. And the third one, 3 Things Jesus Says About You. And before we go any further, I just want to point out how versatile that this post format is. You know, Legacy Church came at it from the angle of a guided prayer using promises from Scripture. I love that. My versions here are starting with problems of identity, hopelessness, and lack of purpose, and then using promises from Scripture to combat those problems that every person has faced at some point in their life, irrespective of faith background. These are just 2 ways, though, of using the list post format. The potential for ideas is really endless. So let me show you how to actually edit these. Okay, so we're starting off here in Photoshop. The download comes with a PSD Photoshop file, and we're gonna first walk through how to edit that, and then we'll bring it into our video editing platform. So, importantly, let's start off by looking at this safe grid that is a layer that's turned off. If we turn that on, here's what we see. The way that you need to keep all of the text inside of this grid, it's very important because the social platforms have the comment button and the like buttons and the caption all overlaid on top of the full screen video. So this overlay here shows you the safe space that you must keep the text within to make sure that your text isn't overlapping with any of the elements on the actual screen. And if there's one thing that I would say to Legacy Church from Massachusetts, their tremendously popular and successful content, it did overlap, which made some of it difficult to read. If you use this safe grid, it'll show you where to keep it. So you can see right now all of our words is safe within that grid, so we are good. So we can turn that off. The font that we're using here is Neuhaus Grotesque, which is one of my favorite fonts recently. And that is an Adobe font, I believe, so freely available. To download, you can edit each of the 3 points, edit the number as well, all very simple. Change the text, and then the scripture references or whatever you want to use as kind of an addendum on this post is also here. I have the stock footage layer in just as an example, but when you're ready to send this over to the video editing platform to finish off the post, you want to turn off this visibility and then export this file as a PNG. Once you've done that, we're gonna bring it inside of our video editor. And here we're using DaVinci Resolve. This is our video editing platform of choice. It is free, so recommend that your church uses it. I've already brought in the PNG right here. I have our stock footage that I've downloaded from Nucleus Media right here. I've got the backing audio as well. And what I've already done is I've brought it onto a vertical timeline, and I've taken that audio stem and I've turned it into a loopable track where basically I've counted out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hit the break point where the 4 bars end so that it will loop over and over again. If you want, you could do that directly within the social platform of your choosing. The downside of that would be you'd have to do it on every social platform that you publish to. The upside would be you get to use a native song on that platform, which could mean that it has increased organic reach, perhaps. The other downside is, it's not especially easy to create this looping sound, and this is the key to making this template work. You need the video to be very short, 5 to 7 seconds total. You want the video's length to be shorter than how long it would take to read through the post. And the reason for that is because you want the video to loop once or twice, 3 times even, while people read through all of the words in your post. And what that signals to the social platforms is that, hey, this post, it's short, sure, but people are re-watching it. They're watching all the way through and they're watching it multiple times. That is a very important signal for platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, that this post is really resonating with an audience. So you don't want it to be 20 seconds, let's say, long enough for someone to read through all the content. You only want it to be maybe 5 seconds. So then the key is making sure the video loops seamlessly and the audio loops seamlessly. It can be difficult to do that directly in the social platform. So here we're doing it in the video platform. The more challenging part, it's really easy to count out 4 bars and then loop that in the audio. The more challenging part is looping the video. So I want to show you how you can loop any video that you have. And you can use stock footage from a platform that you prefer. You can use church footage. The key is you want dark footage in the background to create a ton of contrast between the white text and the background. You don't want any of your background to make that white text hard to read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this stock footage onto the track. You can see, okay, great. It's filling the space and it's dark enough that the white text is all clearly visible. So that's taken care of. Our audio track is already looping. I'm gonna mute it so that we just don't hear it come through, but that's already looping, so that's taken care of. And for copyright reasons, we can't send you the audio itself. This is our stock footage, so we can send you the stock footage, but the audio you have to get from a platform of your choosing. Okay, here's how to loop the video seamlessly. What I'm gonna do is, I am going to take this track of video and I'm gonna count out a full 24 frames, 1 second of footage. So if I drag it to the very beginning of the timeline and we start at double zeros, if I go out to 23 frames, you'll see it's 0:23. As I go to the 24th frame, it becomes 1 second. This is a 24 frame per second timeline, so that's gonna remove 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna hit the letter B, which will turn on the blade tool here in DaVinci Resolve, and that will cut where I want to cut. I'll hit the letter A, that'll go back to my selecting tool, and I'll delete that first second. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my favorites here and choose cross dissolve. This is a native transition that comes within DaVinci Resolve. If I was in video transitions here, I could just search dissolve in the search bar and it would come up as cross dissolve. You can see I have the star here, that means I favorited it. If you want to favorite it as well, just click that star and then it'll land in your favorites. I'm gonna drag cross dissolve onto the very beginning of my track here, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up the end of this cross dissolve with the very beginning of the timeline. So you can hear the cross dissolve, so the fade in on the track ends exactly as the song comes in. That's important. I'm also gonna make this list template just a little bit longer than it needs to be, just so that we're safe on that front. And I'm just gonna extend it on both sides. I know that my length is the audio track, and so the list template, I want it to just overlap just to be safe. Okay, so now that we've done this, we know that this, where our timeline is right now, this is where we want the video to loop. So I'm gonna hit Command C, I'm gonna copy this video track, and I'm gonna paste down later on the timeline a fresh version of it. I'm then gonna back up this video all the way to the end. Drag this here, we're getting closer. And forgive me, if there's a better way of doing this, you know, this is my way. If you're watching this, you're like, okay, this guy's a hooligan. There's a much better way of doing this, you know, feel free to let me know. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count how many frames this cross dissolve is on the screen for, okay? I'm gonna do that by hitting my right, arrow key, one at a time, one frame at a time, to count how many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so it's exactly 1 second long. Easy. I'm now gonna go to the very end of my timeline and count backwards 24 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay. I'm gonna back that off. And then now, I am going to remove this cross dissolve, add a new one across both, and I'm gonna extend it until the very end of the song here, okay? I'm gonna hit the blade tool again, the letter B, cut here, cut, Come on, blade tool. All right, that's fine. You want to be difficult. Hit the letter A, delete this letter. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an in point by hitting the letter I. Okay, that's going to be the beginning of our video. I'll go to the end, hit the letter O. That'll be the end point. And then if I click this, which I've already activated, this red circular loop, that's the looping tool that will say, hey, play this selection that we've just created with the I and the O in and out points. This will be the looping selection. Okay, if I play this from the beginning now, and we watch, this should loop seamlessly, where the cross dissolve begins and then ends right as the next point begins. And the reason it had that little black thing is because for whatever reason, Resolve, when you hit an out point, will sometimes go one frame farther, as you can see it has here. I'm gonna move in one frame, or I'm just gonna move it manually, because apparently I'm a barbarian. Resolve. Okay, okay, this is the solution. You're seeing it in real time. I go in a frame, and then I hit the out point, and then it goes one frame after. That's fine. You want to be difficult, Resolve? We love you, you're free. We love you anyway. Let's try this again. Hit play. This makes for great YouTube videos watching this content, doesn't it? The cross dissolve comes in. We loop to the beginning. Seamless. And that, though not entirely smooth to get there, is how you create an endlessly looping video. And I cannot stress how important it is for this, for the success of this post. It needs to be short and looping over and over again for that rewatch metric, that rewatch signal to be as high as we can get it, to signal to the algorithms that this content is enjoyable by everyone. And there you have it. Like I said, I made this template to share with your church for free. The link to download it is on the screen and in the description. You can just scan the QR code on the screen as well. I can't wait to see what you come up with. The template is indeed free, but hey, if you're appreciative, throw this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to show love. And now that you've got this great post idea, you're feeling good, it's important to understand how a single post like this falls into the overall strategy of a church on social media. And that's what the next video you should watch is for. It's the Church Social Media Masterclass, linked on the screen right now, also in the description. I'll see you in that next video.